So, good evening. We are now here to discuss the chapter Organic Chemistry 1 of plus 1. Okay, first year. So, in this Organic Chemistry 1, we'll be dealing with organic compounds, the basic things about the organic compounds. So, organic compounds play a vital role in the existence of life because DNA, proteins, muscles, blood, these all are constituted by organic compounds. So you can say they play a vital role in the existence of life. And also the textiles or clothing, fuel, polymer, dyes, these also are constituted by certain organic compounds. So that we can say these are having a very vital role in the existence of life. Now, in ancient days, it was believed that these organic compounds are prepared from natural substances or they were extracted from plants and animals. But in 1828, a scientist, Frederick Holler, synthesized an organic compound from an inorganic substance, and the first synthesized organic compound was urea, and it was prepared from the inorganic substance ammonium cyanide. So we can look into the chemical equation which involved the preparation of or synthesis of urea, the first organic compound, from an inorganic substance ammonium cyanide. So this is NH4 CNO. This is called ammonium cyanide. When this was heated, Frederick Holler obtained NH2CONH2, which was an organic compound urea. So this was the first organic compound synthesized from an inorganic compound. Urea was synthesized from the inorganic compound ammonium cyanide. Similarly, after 1828, some other scientists also do synthesized organic compounds from inorganic substances. The other examples are Kolb, another scientist, prepared acetic acid from inorganic substances or inorganic compound. Then Berthelot prepared methane, chemically CH4, from inorganic substances. Okay. The next topic is tetravalence of carbon and the shape of organic compounds. So what is this tetravalence of carbon? You know that carbon is tetravalent. Carbon is having 4 valency. Valence is equal to 4. So it is tetravalent in nature. And what do we can say about the shape of organic compounds? If we know the shape of organic compounds, we will be able to predict the properties of organic compounds. We have studied these things in the chapter Chemical Bonding and Molecular Structure, 4th chapter. Okay, so if you get the shape of or molecular structure or shape of any organic compound, we will be able to predict the properties of that organic compounds. And we know that CH4 methane has got sp3 hybridization, and thus it is having a tetrahedral geometry, tetrahedral shape. And C2H4, which is ethane, which is ethane, is having sp2 hybridization, and thus it is trigonal planar in shape. The other is C2H2, which is ethine is having sp hybridization and thus it is linear in shape. And we know that in the case of this ethine, it is having sp hybridization. So the percentage of S character will be greater. Percentage of S character will be greater. The next is characteristic features of pi bonds. Characteristic features of pi bonds. So what is pi bond? Always single bonds are considered as sigma bonds and multiple bonds are considered as pi bonds. And how the sigma and pi bonds are formed, we have already studied all these things in the chapter, 4th chapter, chemical bonding and molecular structure. So sigma bonds are formed by the axial overlap. Pi bonds are formed by the sidewise overlap. Sidewise overlap. So pi bonds are formed by the sideways overlap, and for this overlap, sideways overlap to take place, p orbitals should be parallelly oriented. If they are arranged like this axially, we will get what? Sigma bonds. So they should be parallelly oriented so that to form p pi bonds. P pi bonds. Now for this, for the example, CH2 double bond CH2, that is ethene. For ethene, both the carbon atoms, these two carbon atoms should be in the same plane. They should be in the same plane, and also their p orbitals should be parallelly oriented, and they should be perpendicular to the plane of the molecule. This is how this p pi bonds are formed. Okay, p pi bonds are formed. Now let me ask you, if I rotate one of the p orbital, or one CH2 is rotated, if I rotate one CH2, this is like this, okay? And like if I rotate this CH2, if I rotate this carbon, will the overlap take place much effectively? No. Okay, so that the product will be less stable. So you can say that CC double bond, rotation about CC double bond is restricted. It is restricted. We can't rotate this CC double bond as we wish. That is restricted because p orbitals should be parallelly oriented and they should be perpendicular to the plane of this molecule. This is the plane of this molecule. Okay, so these two p orbitals are parallelly arranged and they both are perpendicular to this plane of molecule. If you try to rotate one CH2, what happens? The overlap will not take place much effectively, so that we can say the rotation about the CC double bond is restricted. Next is structural representation. Okay, structural representation of organic compounds. We can represent the organic compounds by various methods, and they include Lewis or dot structure, dash structure, condensed structure or condensed formula, bond line representation, and 3D representation, in which we will discuss wedge formula. So the first one is Lewis or dot structure. We have already studied this Lewis or dot structure. In this, we will represent the atoms along with their valence electrons will be represented as dots or crosses around the metal. Okay, so that is Lewis or dot structure. So we will be not repeating those Lewis structure. The second one is dash structure. So what does this dash means? Actually, bonds are represented as dashes. Bonds are represented as dashes in dash structure. And for single bond, we will use a single dash. For double bond, we will use a double dash. For triple bonds, we will use triple dash. Triple dash. Okay. Lone pair of electron on the heteroatoms may or may not be represented. Okay, it is not at all important. And this is called the complete structural formula. Complete structural formula. Because we will be representing everything about the organic compound in dash structure, and thus it is called the complete structural formula. For example, consider ethane. Ethane, we know that ethane is chemically C2H6, and it is containing single bond. So C single bond. Now 6 hydrogen atoms, 1, 2, 3. For a single carbon, it is having tetravalency. Okay, so we can fill the hydrogens here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the dash structure of ethane. Here you can see every atoms and every bonds are shown. Okay, so since it is having only single bonds, we represent only single dashes, and this is called the complete structural formula. Another example, that is ethene. Ethene is chemically C2H4. So since it is ethene, it will be having a double bond. CC double bond. And now we know that carbon is having tetravalency. So this carbon has got 1, 2, 3, 4. This carbon 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we can fill the hydrogens. So you can count it. Carbon 1, carbon 2, 2 carbons. 1 hydrogen, second hydrogen, third, 4 hydrogens. So this is the complete structural formula of ethene. Now what will be ethyne? Ethyne is C2H2 and it is YNE, so it is having a triple bond. So CC triple bond. Now look at the carbon, it has got 1, 2, 3 bonds. Carbon is tetravalent, so put a bond here. This carbon 2 is tetravalent, put a bond there, fill it with the hydrogens. Okay, so 2 carbons, 2 hydrogens. So this is the complete structural formula of ethane. Now how will be methanol? Methanol is chemically CH3OH. So how will we represent this? Methanol means single carbon. Carbon is having tetravalency. Carbon is having 3 hydrogens and 1 OH. So 1, 2, 3 hydrogen, 1 OH, and look at the oxygen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because oxygen is having atomic number 8. So if we write the electronic configuration 2, 6. So it will be here 1, here 1. Okay. Oxygen is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is bonded with the carbon here. It is bonded with the hydrogen here, and that is why we are representing 2 lone pairs of electron on oxygen atom. This is what we called, like we told that for heteroatoms we may or may not represent the lone pair of electrons. You can either represent this electron pairs or else you can write it like this also. Both are correct. So this much is about the dash structure or complete structural formula. Dash structure or complete structural formula. The third one is condensed structure or condensed formula. Condensed structure, as the name indicates, it is condensed. As we represented in the dash structure on the complete structural formula, we just wrote every bonds. Okay, here it will be condensed. We won't represent every bonds while writing the chemical formula or while representing the organic compounds. So structural formula can be abbreviated by omitting the dashes. Dashes means the bonds. Okay, dashes, and indicate identical groups attached to an atom as its subscript. So we have to omit the dashes, and if we have identical atoms or groups, we have to represent them as subscripts. So we can look into the examples. Ethene, ethyne, then ethane and methanol. Ethane and methanol. So this is for ethene we had the structural formula or dash formula like this. Okay, C2H4, here C2H2, C2H6, CH3OH. Okay, so this was the structural or complete structural formula. In the case of condensed structure, we will omit the dashes, single dashes. We will omit the single dashes and write it as like this: CH2 double bond CH2. So this is the condensed formula of or condensed structure of ethene. Now what will be ethane? Ethane we had H. This was the complete structural formula. We have to omit the dashes. Omit the dashes. CH triple bond CH. This much. Ethane was CH. This was the complete structural formula. Here it will be CH3 single bond CH3. CH3 single bond CH3. For methanol it was CH3 OH. So this can be written by omitting the single bonds. So that will be CH3 OH. CH3 OH. Okay, so this is the condensed structure. Similarly, we have told we have to omit the dashes, and if we have identical groups or atoms, we should use it as subscript. So we can take another example like if we have CH3, CH2, 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 CH3, the condensed formula or condensed structure will be CH3, then CH2, how many times? 1, 2, 3. So thrice CH3. So that is, if we have identical atoms in multiple numbers, we should use it as subscripts. Okay, the multiple number should be represented as subscript. So this much is about the condensed structure. The next one is bond line representation. Bond line representation, it is much beautiful. The fourth one is bond line representation. So in this we want to use atoms. Carbon, hydrogen will not be represented in the bond line representation. Only heteroatoms will be represented in the bond line representation. Only heteroatoms will be represented in the bond line representation. And look at this example. Hexane. Hexane means C6H14. C6H14. Hex means 6 carbons. Ane means it is alkane, so single bond. CN H2n plus 2 will be the general formula of alkanes. So if N is equal to 6, H will be 6 into 2 plus 2, so that is 12 plus 2, 14. Okay, so that is 14 hexane. Okay, so this can be represented as 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the bond line representation of hexane. Okay, so this is the bond line representation of hexane. And in the case of this bond line representation, we have to understand something more. These terminals represent CH3 if not specified with any other atoms. Okay, so the terminals will be CH3 if not specified by other atoms. Now the line junctions also represent carbon atom with appropriate number of hydrogen atoms. It will be here, if it is carbon has 4 valencies. So here one valency is satisfied, the second valency is satisfied, 2 more valencies are to be satisfied, so here it will be CH2. Okay, so this is how the line junctions act. and heteroatoms will be specified if present. So we can just look into this once more. Like in the case of hexane, it is C6H14. C6H14. The complete structural formula will be C6. Okay, so for this carbon, it will be having 4 valences, 1, 2, 3, 4. For this carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4. This carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4. This carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4. For this carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4. For this carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4. So fill them with the hydrogen. Hydrogen, 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 hydrogen. So count the hydrogens and carbons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 carbons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 hydrogens. So this is the complete structural formula or dash structure of hexane. Now what is the condensed structure? We have to omit all these single bonds. All these single bonds. So it will be CH3. This is CH3, then this one CH2, 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 CH3. Now again we have identical groups 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times. So we can represent them by as or the multiple as subscript. So CH3, CH2, 4 times CH3. So this will be the condensed structure. Now the bond line representation will be 1 carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We know that the terminals will represent CH3 if not specified. And these line junctions will represent carbon with the appropriate number of hydrogens. So here you can see this carbon requires 2 more hydrogen. This 2 more hydrogen. This carbon also requires 2 more hydrogen. So that is CH3, CH2, 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 CH3. The same thing, CH3, CH2, 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 CH3. Okay, so this is about the bond line representation. Now, we know that if we have any heteroatoms present, they should be represented. For example, 2-bromobutane. 2-bromobutane. So how will you write the condensed structure of 2-bromobutane? It contains butane, so 4 carbons. 4 carbons. On the second carbon, it contains bromine. On the second carbon, it contains bromine. Now we have to satisfy the carbon. So carbon have 4 valencies. This carbon 1, 2, 3, 4. This carbon 1, 2, 3, 4. This carbon 1, 2, 3, 4. We can satisfy the valencies of carbon with hydrogen. Okay, so this is the dash or complete structural formula of 2-bromobutane. What will be the condensed structure? We have to omit all the single bonds, Okay, so that will be CH3, CHBr, CHBr, CH2, CH3, CH2, CH3. We can even omit these bond also. You can even write this Br here, no issues. Now, in the bond line representation, we have to count the number of carbon atoms and then we have to draw zigzag lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4 carbons. On the second carbon, it is having a bromine. So if it is an heteroatom means carbon or hydrogen. If any atoms other than carbon or hydrogen are present in an organic compound, it will be heteroatom. So here it is bromine. So it is an heteroatom, so we have to specify it in the bond line representation. So here this 2 will be CH3, they are terminals. This will be carbon, line junctions are carbon with the appropriate number of hydrogen atoms. So for here it contains 1, 2 bonds are satisfied, 2 more are required. For this carbon 1, 2, 3 are satisfied, 1 is required. So this is CH3, then CHBr, then CH2, then CH3. So this is how bond line representation comes. Bond line representation comes. Now what will be cyclopropane? Cyclopropane. Cyclopropane, then cyclobutane, cyclobutane. So what is cyclopropane means? It is having a cyclic structure. Propane means 3 carbons. Cyclo means they should form a closed structure. So C, C, C. So this is a closed structure. Cyclopropane means CH2, CH2, CH2. We fill the hydrogens according to the tetravalent nature of carbon. So if you don't put a 2 hydrogens here, carbon has 1, 2 valencies satisfied. 2 more valencies are to be satisfied. That is why we put the 2 hydrogens for all these carbons. Okay, now how will be the bond line representation? Bond line representation. Only bonds will be represented. So this will be a single triangle. A simple triangle represents cyclopropane. Now what will be cyclobutane? Simply a square. There will be CH2, 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 CH2. Only terminals represent what? CH3, right? These are not terminals. They are line junctions. Another example is chlorocyclohexane. Chlorocyclohexane. So we know what is cyclohexane. What is cyclohexane? Hexane as a cycle. So hexane as a cycle with the chlorine. So since chlorine, you can place chlorine anywhere you like. Since chlorine is a heteroatom, we have to specify it. That is about the bond line representation. The next is 3-dimensional representation, which includes wedge formula. So wedge formula means we will have 2 types of wedges: solid wedge and dashed wedge. Solid wedge and dashed wedge. This solid wedge represents, or this is represented as like this, a solid wedge. Solid wedge. It should be shaded. Solid wedge should be shaded, and the dashed wedge should be dashed. Okay. Dashed. A dashed wedge and a solid wedge. This is how we represent the bonds in wedge formula or 3-dimensional formula. This solid wedge represents the bond projecting out of the plane, or towards the observer, or the bond towards the observer. The bond projecting out of the plane. If this is the plane, if we have a solid wedge to here, it indicates the bond is out of the plane. It is towards the observer. Now dashed wedge indicates it is bond projecting out of plane itself. 3-dimensional bonds. So it is also out of plane. This is towards observer. This one indicates away from the observer. away from the observer, away from the observer. So if we have, okay, now the bonds in a plane of paper are represented by a normal dash, Now you can look at this example, methane in 3-dimensional formula, methane CH4 in 3-dimensional formula, so that is carbon, hydrogen, one hydrogen is represented using solid wedge, the other is represented using dashed wedge. So this is solid wedge. That means if I am looking from this post, if I am looking from this position, this is towards me, this bond is towards me. Okay, now if I am looking from here, this one is out of or away from the observer, If I am looking from here, this bond is towards me and this bond is away from me, that is towards the observer and away from the observer, and always this broad end of this wedges, will point towards the observer. It will be from the observer. Never draw like this, Okay, every time this broad end should be near to the observer, That is about the representation of organic compounds. The next is nomenclature of organic compounds.